Councilmember Cato, we're live.
Call to order, 7 p.m. Please rise for the invocation.
Let us pray. Precious Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your grace, mercy, favor, and your love on all of us present and all that are associated with the city of Helotes. We ask, God, that you show your grace upon us in such a way that we are able to have good governance, great conversations, solve problems, mitigate to solutions that are useful for all involved, our citizens, our professional staff, those who are business owners, organizations, and visitors. We thank you for being able to have our life, health, and strength. We ask, God, that you keep us healthy and on our feet, and allow those who are not present but desire to be able to tune in and receive the information that's useful for the conduction of our governmental organization. Have your way in our lives. Keep us all focused and keep us all safe. We thank you for these and many other blessings. In Jesus' name I pray, and all those that agree say, Amen. Amen.
Now the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to you, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Have the representative from the American Red Cross come forward, please.
Photos.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, thank you.
It's nice to meet you. Yes.
Now if we could have the Helotes Masonic Lodge come forward. You have a presentation for us.
Yes. Yes. Speak into the mic.
Short, speak.
Speak into the mic.
Okay, all right. Good evening, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, city staff, and members of our community. Thank you for allowing us, the Freemasons, my brothers right there, to recognize an individual whose service has made a meaningful impact here in the city of Helotes. On behalf of Helotes Masonic Lodge number 1429, it is my honor to present the Community Builder Award, an award given to those who have demonstrated exceptional dedication to strengthening the fabric of our community. In Freemasonry, we are taught that our purpose is not only to build better men, but to build better communities. The Community Builder Award reflects that principle. It recognizes individuals whose leadership, service, and character help create trust, stability, and unity among the people they serve. This evening, we are proud to recognize Chief Randy Deere. That's it. I'm not yet done. Hey, you bro. I'm not yet done. Oh, you're not done? Yeah. You can listen to it. I'm not yet done. I just have to finish this. Chief Deere has taken on the responsibility of leading the Helotes Police Department with a clear vision, one grounded in trust, service, and accountability. His mission states, and I quote, "Our mission is to build trust through professional service, foster safety through proactive policing, and uphold the highest standards of accountability to our community," end quote. This mission speaks directly to the needs of any strong and thriving city. But beyond this mission, it is the values behind it that truly defines leadership. Chief Deere has emphasized accountability, integrity, servanthood, and commitment, principles that align closely with the values that we hold dear in Freemasonry. Integrity ensures that decisions are made with honesty and moral clarity. Accountability reminds us that leadership carries responsibility, not only to the role, but to the people. Servanthood reflects a mindset that leadership is not about authority, but about service. And commitment is what sustains these values day in and day out. Chief Deere has also shared a guiding statement for his department. Again, I quote, "We are guided by integrity, driven by service and accountability to those whom we protect." That statement captures the essence of what it means to serve the community, not just to protect it, but to earn its trust. In today's environment, trust is more important than ever. It is built not through words alone, but through consistent action, presence, and leadership. Chief Deere has demonstrated that he understands this responsibility, and he is committed to strengthening the relationship between law enforcement and the community he serves. And that is why we are here this evening. Chief Deere, on behalf of Helotes Masonic Lodge number 1429, it is my distinct honor to present to you the Community Builder Award. We thank you for your leadership, your service, and your commitment to the city of Helotes. Congratulations.
Just a quick thing. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. But I need to share with you, this is my vision, right? I'm not the guy who does it. It's the guys who out here on the street. It's the supervisors. It's everybody that keep, all the administrative people, all the court people. All of these people are what make these things possible, right? And we want to be a department that is transparent. We want to be a department that is trustworthy. And this is the first step by being transparent and saying, hey, here we are. And we want to know what makes things that fit your needs and that we can do better, right? So thank you all. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Now we'll have the citizens to be heard section. Can I have Terry Gray?
Hi, my name is Terry Gray.
I'm sorry, Miss Gray, Councilmember Cato, if we can just wait so they can
That's fine.
sit, and then I'll start your 3 minutes after. You can stay there.
Okay.
Yeah. They're pretty quick to leave.
Okay.
We're good.
Hi, my name is Terry Gray. I live at 11444 Sunset Boulevard in the Beverly Hills subdivision. I have lived there since 1987. My purpose is to share with you why you should not approve Unit 4 of the Brycewood subdivision. My house is it borders where Unit 5 is, and there has been major drainage issues that have been addressed over and over for 2 years. I have some pictures, well, more or less that's drainage issues. I have some pictures that I wanted to share with you, and I don't want to go over each picture, but I wanted to share with you, the first 2 pictures are from several weeks ago. I put the date that they were taken. They were taken in March at the beginning of this month. That's through my yard. That's the silt through my yard. The second picture is the barrier that they have put up. It's called a silt barrier, meaning it's supposed to block the silt, but it's used to block water. And as you can see, it overflows water all the time. And then the third one, yes, my house has received water, but it's never received silt and dirt as it does now. The third one is my driveway. This is 2 weeks ago. The next picture with the fence, the white rock fence post, was taken in September. And water is still coming over the silt barrier that's used as a water barrier that's been moved around a number of times. And yes, I have contacted Corey Bulow, who has been very good about responding and coming out and saying that Helotes oversees the Brycewood development. However, I'm putting my trust into Helotes, and hopefully you will not approve plat Section 4 of the Brycewood subdivision until they make right. After 2 years, they haven't addressed the drainage issues of Section 5. Not only is it just in my yard, it causes a safety concern also. The water goes down into the street, as you can see from the pictures. It's not quite as bad now, but it's still bad. After 1/2 inch of rain, cars were like putting on, as you know, traffic has increased in our subdivision. Cars are slamming on their brakes. I've watched it happen just this month, and it's kind of scary. It's a safety issue, much less I don't bike, but I know people do, and I've heard them complain about biking and walking and kids and everything else out on the street. And just to think that we're considered in a drought. I'd hate to think when we're in a regular season. The citizens shouldn't have to contact lawyers to address inadequacies that contractors when the city says they are overseeing these contractors. Please don't support ineffective and incomplete work by rewarding Brycewood with another vote for approval to continue development until the drainage issue is resolved from Plat 5. I still don't understand why we're doing Plat 4 when Plat 5 has been approved and worked on, but please don't approve Plat 4, meaning they always say that they're gonna do something, but it never seems to work. Wait till it's proven. Thank you.
Is Eric Thompson?
Hello, my name is Eric Thompson. I live at 11422 Beverly Hills Drive. Good evening, City Council members. I'm here to speak out of frustration because once again, our neighborhood is bearing the brunt of surrounding development. We already lost the battle regarding the traffic from Davis Ranch, whose residents are continually allowed to use our insufficient road system as their personal bypass. Frankly, if our neighbors can do what they want with relative impunity, at the very least, we need to ensure the city protects our actual homes and properties from being destroyed in the process. Because right now, that's exactly what's happening. The recent earthworks and grading at the new Brycewood subdivision has become a nightmare. Brycewood's elevated grading and engineering fill are actively redirecting massive volumes of rainfall directly into our neighborhood. We aren't just talking about rainwater. Rain events now deposit a dense slurry of heavy silt across our streets, driveways, and lawns. This blocks natural soil permeability, leaving stagnant pools of water. The damage goes deep into our groundwater too. After thousands of dollars that we spent to repair our well and water filtration system, which has become choked with Brycewood's muddy runoff, we're at a breaking point. To compound the nightmare, ongoing fire hydrant installation in our neighborhood is not only worsening our daily traffic, but the construction has severely impacted our drainage embankments and flow paths. They've now been backfilled to the point of nearly leveling the grade. When it rains again, this massive volume of water will have nowhere to go. The city's current mitigation efforts are insufficient. Sending street sweepers to power wash the roads while leaving homeowners with mud-covered driveways is unacceptable. Where do you think that power wash silty water goes? Our yard. I'm requesting 3 immediate actions from the council. 1, verify Bryce Wood's civil engineering oversight. We need you to confirm that their stormwater pollution prevention plan is actually in place and being enforced. And as stakeholders, these plans need to be made available to us for review. 2, conduct an updated floodplain and drainage assessment in our neighborhood. The sudden standing water suggests our floodplain boundaries may have been artificially altered. Our houses may now be in the floodplain. And 3, extend municipal cleanup efforts to private properties damaged by this runoff. We ask that you schedule a field inspection immediately, and we expect to be included in all subsequent remediation plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna Green?
Hi, I'm Anna Green. Thank you guys for the opportunity to address this issue today and our concerns. I live at 11422 Beverly Hills Drive, and I have been impacted by the current ongoing construction in Unit 4, so I'm urging you to delay approval of Unit 5 until that is mitigated. Every time it rains, the rain through that area rushes down into our neighborhood, and we become a retention pond for all of the silt and runoff that is washed away due to the construction. This is impacting not just our landscape, but our air quality and our quality of water. We are all on well water in Beverly Hills, so the fact that this silt is going into our water system has led to damage to our well and filter, and last year I had to spend $3,000 to repair that and get a new filter that will actually keep my water clear and not brown like it was coming out. I don't want to overlook the fact that our neighborhood already does feel a little bit disenfranchised with the impacts that we're facing due to the construction going around bordering our neighborhood and now going through our neighborhood on our street. It is very frustrating with the traffic currently impacted by our roads being closed off to deliver city water to the construction zones. So we are already very frustrated, and we are really hoping that we can get this issue mitigated before approval of something that will compound the effects. I do have some pictures that I wanted to share that highlight the difference that we're talking about with the runoff. I have a picture from 2021 of a clear yard, the same spot, and these show that the rain from that time, again, clear water. We can all say that it wasn't this bad, but I actually have proof. And then from late 2025, there is a picture where you can see the same spot, and we have a lake of silt, fully opaque water. Once the rain dries, this settles into our yard. Again, it's pushed further and further into our yard and then down into our water supply. I don't want to ask for special treatment. I really just want you to help us mitigate what's already happening before we are further impacted. All of these negative impacts just further compound on each other, and without mitigation, it's going to get worse and worse for the people that live here and are downstream from all of this damage. We really do appreciate the chance to voice these concerns, and I hope that you can hear us and hopefully delay that approval until this is already resolved. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Ruth Perez?
Hello, good evening. My name is Ruth Bettis, and I live at 11440 Beverly Hills. That's the corner of Beverly Hills and Malibu. I'm speaking today as a resident, sharing the direct impacts my family are experiencing and to ask for guidance and support from the city. I'd like to bring forward 3 concerns impacting our neighborhood: the traffic, construction impacts, and the stormwater. First, traffic. Despite recent signage, our neighborhood continues to be used as a cut-through between Helotes and San Antonio neighborhood. During peak morning hours, the volume has increased to the point where it can take residents 40 minutes just to travel a couple of blocks within our neighborhood. Our streets were not designed to handle this level through traffic, and it's creating both congestion and safety concerns for our families. In addition, children, including my own, in our neighborhood rely on the school bus transportation. With this increased construction congestion, buses are running behind schedule, and children are having to wait longer at the stops alongside increasing traffic within these busy streets, which raises real safety concerns. We understand that constant police presence is not a long-term solution, but we're asking the city to help identify alternative options to reduce non-local traffic and improve safety on our streets. Second, the ongoing water main construction project. While this project is being conducted by SAW's San Antonio Water System, it is taking place on Helotes streets and already impacting Helotes residents. The level of the dust, the disruption has been significant, affecting our homes, our yards, landscaping, windows, roofs, and overall living conditions. One example, we are wearing masks, or we had been wearing masks outdoors when playing, when throwing the ball, we're wearing masks, not for COVID, but for dust. When traffic control plans were shared with our neighborhood last year, many residents understood that it would include more traffic control during construction. That has not been our experience. I also understand there are limitations with enforcement on Highway 1560, but traffic is still entering and impacting Helotes roads. I would appreciate clarification on what support the city of Helotes can provide in those areas. While this project may serve as a broader purpose, our neighborhood is carrying the burden of the disruption with very limited direct benefit. We're asking for the city to ensure appropriate oversight, clear communication, and thorough restoration once the project is complete. Finally, I want to raise a concern regarding the stormwater and the proposed Brycewood subdivision. Our neighborhood has already experienced ongoing stormwater issues.
Ann Caraway.
Good evening. My name is Ann Caraway, 11240 Sunset Boulevard, Helotes, Texas. I'm here today because I oppose the final approval of the plat over Unit 4, which is agenda item number 8 today. And I really request that the city either grant conditional approval of the plat or delay the approval until a proper investigation can be done into the drainage problem that is in Unit 5. Now, a lot of people think, oh, well, this is Unit 4. It has nothing to do with Unit 5. Very untrue, because until you get the remedy for the dangerous stormwater problem on Unit 5, you do not know if it is going to affect the drainage in the platting on Unit 4. It's incomplete. It's like a carpet where you have a bump and you push it down here and it comes up over there. We don't know until the remedy is provided for that drainage problem over there on Malibu and Sunset, whether it's going to affect the platting of this Unit 4. So I really ask that that get delayed and investigation be done. I happen to have a client who's a civil engineer. 2 weeks ago, I saw that buckets of water coming down that street over that silt wall. And I showed the picture that Terry had to my civil engineer client. He said, those silt walls should be at the top of the slope, and that's where the water should stay. It should never make it to the bottom. Those walls are not meant to retain water, and this is clearly in violation of Texas Water Code 11.086. The drainage stormwater plan is inadequate. And I really think this council needs to look at this. The job for the city is to protect the citizens and make sure it's safe, and that the welfare of the citizens should supersede any plat from a developer, especially when it's done incompetently. I did find, strangely, I found a note to warn developers, it is unlikely that a city will ever legally approve a final plat while a pending drainage issue exists on a previous related plat in the same subdivision. So that's why you're presented with the entire subdivision, because everything affects everything else. These people have been coming here for 2 years complaining. Is my understanding they've been here several times. They only came to P&Z once. I was there. I told the engineer, you need to take care of this. They said they were putting ponds in that were bigger. I was very happy about that, but that obviously did not resolve the problem, because I myself, with half an inch of rain, saw the flooding. And we're in a drought. Just imagine if, if we get, God willing, April showers, this is going to be a total mess. And with all the people speeding down Beverly Hills, we're going to have an accident. So just trying to let y'all know what's going on because I wasn't aware of it. I thought it had been remedied. Thank you.
Okay, that is all we have for citizens to be heard. Could I have a motion and second to discuss, or actually, a motion and second for consent agenda items number 5 and 6?
I'd like to request that we pull consent agenda item number 5 for discussion. That's approval of minutes from our last meeting on March 12th.
Okay.
So I requested an adjustment on the minutes, and that went via email to the council earlier today.
Yes, I saw the same thing. I think from that discussion, there's some additional details that could be added to the minutes. I noticed that they didn't capture the comments from Councilmember Cato or Councilmember Sanders. So I think the minutes could be enhanced somewhat in addition to the correction that Councilmember Stones shared.
Do we need to remove that then from the, okay,
We can bring it for the next agenda.
okay. And item 6?
No issues with item number 6. That can
Okay,
be
no issues.
consent.
Items for individual consideration?
Stand by. We still need to take a vote regarding consent
Okay.
item 6.
6. I'm sorry. Have a vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
And that was for item number 6, correct?
Correct.
Who was the first for 6? Jen?
Jen.
Okay. And then second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Got a motion and second to discuss and take action on consent, on individual consideration item number 7.
Good evening, Council. I'm here this evening I'm Kimberly Roach with Armstrong Vaughn and Associates, and I'm here to present the audit for the year ended September 30, 2025. Similar to last year, we provided to you, hopefully you have it close by at hand, a single page of audit highlights. That's where I thought I would focus my presentation this evening, just to keep from several pages of being flipped back and forth. However, I'm certainly happy to address any other items within the report that you may have further questions about or want any further explanation on. Are you putting the highlights up?
I don't have the highlights here, but they do have a printed copy on the dais.
Okay, yes, so probably loose in your book. It'll be like a single page and it's got several columns like this. Obviously less handwriting on it, but. So to just go over these highlights, first and foremost, we did issue what's called an unmodified opinion. More frequently, it's usually referred to as a clean opinion. And really what that indicates is that we agree that the financial statements as adjusted are accurate. And so the financials within your bound copies or within the electronic version of the final audit would be accurate numbers. However, that being said, we did have some significant journal entries and adjustments that we made as part of our audit process. The more significant items we have outlined and detailed in your secondary letter that would also be included within your audit bound reports. They're just not bound. They would be like a loose letter on our letterhead. I have a lot of notes here. So it would be part of that particular letter is where we would go over any of those significant adjustments that we made as part of our audit. We did, unfortunately, this year have so many significant adjustments that it did lead to what we have to refer to as a material weakness in internal controls. And because the fact of the way that your audit is conducted, we are required to actually include that within the audit report itself. So it's actually more detailed out in your books. But again, any of these items, I'm happy to address more detailed if you'd like. And then finally, we had one other minor item that we considered just a written finding, just basically an area for recommendation for improvement within the city's internal controls and overall operating procedures. I did have an opportunity to meet with management, and we discussed these in much more detail and thorough, coming up with a corrective action plan for the city on how to mitigate and go forward from here. Are there any questions on just those overview items? We're going on to some of the numbers that you'd see on those highlights there. So again, these are not necessarily what's included in the PDF report, or well, they are, but not necessarily in the same format. Under your general fund, you'll see there the trending years. So you can see your last 3 actual years and then the budget to the far right column. And so overall, we've seen that your revenues do continue to trend up. Primarily, your increases in revenue from 24 to 25 related mostly to the water credits related to the Brycewood subdivision. That was about $435,000 worth just in one fiscal year. There was another scheduled payment that would have occurred in FY26 that is not reflected in these FY25 audit numbers. That was also another reason why, of course, your actual budget came in well over, or your actual numbers came in well over your budgeted revenues. Additionally, your sales tax and your court fines were also higher than anticipated. So those were other positive variances compared to your actual final approved budget. Like your revenues, your expenditures are also continuing to trend upward. Largely, this was related to your overall personnel. There was a 3% COLA and a 2% merit that was offered and available to all city staff employees based on evaluations. And so overall, we did see that increase in personnel. There was also an increase in capital outlay items, including vehicles and repairs and maintenance, as well as some traffic signal maintenance. So all of those items kind of included or contributed to the increase in your expenditures from 24 to 25. However, that being said, even with those increases, everything was within budget in total for the city's general fund. There were certain department line items that went over, but overall the city was well under your final budgeted expenditures. You also contributed about $400,000 from the general fund to your capital projects fund. And even after that transfer out of the general fund, you'll see there that you had a positive change in fund balance of $2 million in the general fund. That brought your ending fund balance to about $13.1 million. So a very healthy position, as that would equate to about 17.4 months worth of average operating expenditures based on your FY25 actual numbers. When I looked ahead to see what your FY26 budgeted increases would be, that number would now come down to about 14.2. So obviously each year as your expenditures do continue to rise, those number of months of fund balance wouldn't be quite as high. But it's still a very, very healthy position for the city to be in. Those are all my summaries on the general fund. If there's any questions there, I'd be happy to answer those for you. I also want to mention the EDC, of course, the Economic Development Corporation. Their revenues also tend to, are still trending up a little bit, not quite as much, but they've been fairly stable. But those revenues represent their sales tax dollars net of any of their 380 payments that are made back to developers. Similar to the city, but of course the city has much other items in your revenues in the general fund, where EDC is primarily just their sales tax revenue. So that's the only reason why I mentioned their revenue as being net of the 380 payments back. Their expenditures actually were down in FY25 compared to FY24, and that's primarily due to some of those one-time expenditures related to the visitor center. They did carry for both fiscal years, but the majority of the expenditures occurred in '24. And so that was largely the main reason why in FY '25 we saw that decline. All other items stayed fairly comparable from year to year. The EDC also transfers money out to help cover their portion of the debt payments, as well as some capital items that they contribute towards the capital projects fund. And yet, even after those transfers out, their change in fund balance was also a positive $492,000. So overall, again, increases in fund balance for that department or that corporation as well, however you want to consider that. The next item under the highlights that I want to go over, or any questions on the EDC first? I also want to show you there that you can see your ARPA grant. That, of course, was some of the federal dollars that came in from related to the COVID funding. The city has continued to spend those dollars, and so the revenues and the expenditures should always be offsetting, because essentially what happened with that is the city received the money up front for a total of just shy of about $2.5 million, and as those expenditures were incurred, then the city would be able to recognize that money that was received on the front end. So that's why you're always going to see those revenues and expenditures equal. You did have, as of September 30, 2025, you had about $283,000 remaining of that $2.5 million, and all of that is projected to be spent in FY '26, just in time to meet all the final reporting requirements for those funds to be spent. Any questions on the ARPA fund? All right, well then the last thing that I have for you on that audit highlights page is basically just all of the other minor city funds. I say minor just because they're lesser in dollar than the funds that we've already discussed previously. However, I will note that you can see your street maintenance fund definitely continues to increase too from year to year. Again, this is also coming from your sales tax, and even with some fluctuations from 24 to 25 in sales tax, overall, the city is still bringing in a very healthy amount of revenue compared to the expenditures that are being met. So still increases each year in fund balance there. Your debt service fund also continues to increase, and that's even partly because the city has not incurred any new debt in recent years. You're actually getting very close to paying off some of your existing debt that you've had. You've got a few years left on one of your certificates of obligation. You still have several more years on the other item, but very close to getting those fully paid off. So your overall long-term debt is getting fairly short. Therefore, of course, that was part of the reason, I have no doubt, that you reduced the amount of your property taxes related to your debt service. However, you still had an increase in revenues just because the overall assessed value of the properties in the city obviously all went up. So even though the lower tax rate for debt service, still the higher revenues. Most of your other minor funds are pretty stable and pretty steady. However, I did also want to mention there was one fairly large tick up in your tree mitigation fund, and that was related to Brycewood Unit 5. So there was about $119,000 that would have increased the fund balance for that particular fund. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
I'll start. Thank you, first of all, very nice to see you. Also, thank you for mentioning the number of months in that general fund. I've noticed in prior reports, when you've referenced the ending balance of the general fund, also the number of months that total. So we went from 16.1 months of reserves for fiscal year ending 2024, and now we are up to 17.4 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Also noted is from the Government Finance Officers Association, kind of the rule of thumb is 2 months.
They usually give a range. I believe it's like 2 to 5, but yes, ma'am, 2 would be the bare minimum.
Okay. And our policy is a minimum of 2 months. With the other recommendations that you presented, would you also recommend a policy that not only addresses the minimum, but how the excess can be spent on what, when, how, and in the policy, and not just the minimum of the 2 months, especially as this fund goes up every single year?
Understand. The only thing is certainly as auditors, well, what our true recommendations have to do with would be related to your internal controls and how to make sure that there's not an opportunity for material misstatement.
Okay.
It's not truly in our scope to be able to recommend operationally, things like that. So that's where we want to try to make sure that we maintain our independence. It's certainly something for discussion within the city, but yeah, that's kind of where we want to keep our independence and let that be ultimately a management decision.
Okay. And are there any restricted funds in that 13.1 million?
Not in the 13.1. That is actually all unassigned fund balance, and that means it's available for any general spending. That's part of the reason why we separate those other funds out. Those represent essentially any restrictions you may have.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
A motion and second to discuss and take action on consent agenda item number. I'm sorry. We need, yes. I realize where all in favor of approving consent agenda item number 7 as presented?
Aye.
I apologize. Who did we have for the motion? Did we have a motion?
No, we did not.
If we can get the motion in a second.
I'll
for item
motion,
7.
I'll first.
I'll second.
Okay. Now, all in favor of approving consent agenda, individual consideration item number 8?
7.
7, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. Motion and second to discuss and take action on consent agenda item number 8.
Make motion.
Motion, second? I'll second.
Yes, that's acceptable.
Yes, I know. That's why I said it.
You know, even listening to the P&Z conversation about Unit 4, it does give me a lot of concern that it appears that we do have an open issue and we're going to put more water into an unknown issue. Looking over the documents, the document don't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me the plan for the water, where the water's going. I see the creeks. Creeks are downhill, water runs downhill. It's pretty simple there. But where is it going to go through the streets, through the neighborhood, into the affected neighborhoods around it? The pictures are telling. I cannot deny it. And thank you very much for bringing the pictures this evening and showing the story. I'm a very visual person. There's no getting over that. What I would like to see is a plan. What are we doing other than just possibly taking action on top of something that obviously the people who live there and in the adjoining neighborhoods feel is definitely a concern. I would hate when we do get that 100-year flood. We're due, and we're kind of in a hurricane area too. We are known that Medina Lake will fill back up. What's going to happen to the homes already? Mostly with the dark water, the silt overflowing. It just, what is the plan? What is the rule? What are we going to do with 5? And what is the plan for 4? It just was, I was given some documents, which I know high level exactly what they're telling me, the topography and everything else, where the creeks are, but I don't see the plan for the water runoff.
I would agree with you. I have some serious concerns with the runoff and what we've seen in the pictures. I don't know. I find it hard to approve it like it is. Henry, do you have anything to add?
Well, I'll wait until all parties have spoken.
Is the developer here to answer questions?
Yes.
Okay, I think it would be helpful if the developer came up and
Good call.
answered questions.
Good evening, my name is Fred Gavido, developer of Brycewood. The entire unit, all the units from 1 through 5, including 4.
If I may, Can you speak just a little bit louder so that we get it clear on the?
Fred Gavidel, developer of Brycewood. I'm here to answer any questions. I understand there's concerns with the water of Unit 4. If you like, I can talk a little bit about what we've done, what are in the works to continue to improve that drainage aspect of it. I can discuss that a little further. I've met Ms. Gray out there. I've met Mr. Malik, who has a water easement, a drainage easement that runs through his property. He resides on Sunset, and also Mr. Lara, who has a big drainage easement that runs backside of his. Both those property owners, we've been able to mitigate and reduce the impact on their properties. And it's not like I understand, the concerns. It's not like we've sat on our hands and not done anything over the time. The plans were approved by, were designed by my engineer, who's here as well. Goes through your all's engineering process. It's just the phenomenal. The water's going to come off of that property, and it's going to run along. It's going to run through Beverly Hills, and it's going to come around the back side of it or the front side and get onto 1560. So the concern is just to minimize the silt as we've developed and disturbed the soils there. So now there's no vegetation that can hold back that silt. What we've done is silt fence after silt fence, after developing swales, increasing our pond sizes, creating rock berms around our outlets, redoing that number of times. So in an effort, I want to be clear to council that, it's not like there's nothing that's been done here. There's been hundreds of thousands of dollars spent to try to mitigate this. Now, the effort that's ongoing right now that should really improve the situation with the current property owners, we're going to construct a wall. So as you come up Malibu, you're going to be facing a wall now, and that wall will serve in a couple of different terms. It'll force the water. So the water that's escaping us right now is coming off the property, so it doesn't have a chance to get to our detention ponds. So it's just a small section of lots that are running off the property that are impacting the current homeowners that has spoke. And so by building this wall, we're going to force the water back for those particular lots back onto our streets, into our drainage detention areas, so that we can filter that out and then discharge it through the two larger ponds that are there. And as you build these walls get built with gravel behind them. So even the water that does come through there will naturally filter out too. So that should be a tremendous help. Again, it was not part of our original design in Unit 5. That work got approved last week to get started. They were supposed to start today. I'm not sure if they did. I wasn't out there today. So that's what's ongoing. And I think that's going to, again, I'm not going to say it's going to be the end-all fix on this deal, but it's going to be a tremendous help to get that water.
Exactly, I guess what I'm trying to get at, I'd like to see what you're doing. Show me that wall. This is where we're going to put the wall. This is our plan for the water. This is where the water is going to go. to keep it from going into the Beverly Hills neighborhood. I don't see the plan for it.
Well-
I think that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I sent that, as a matter of fact, today to Corey. I don't know if I can send it to Mr. Hayes. If I can forward it to you, can you pull it up for them?
We won't be able to pull it up live, but you can forward it to me. I'll gladly receive it.
Okay. So I'll forward it as well as to Ms. Christina, and so they'll have that.
What I'd like to do is table this, so also the public can have an opportunity to review that. The people that it's going to affect, they need the opportunity to look at also the fix or, any issues they may have with it and be able to provide that feedback to us also.
And I understand, and you guys are gonna make a decision based on that. How my point is, Unit 4 is not that it's just called Brycewood because I bought it. I bought that piece of land and I named it Brycewood. But in between Brycewood and this little piece of property is another community called Sagebrook, which is not in the city of Helotes. And so detaining or holding me on one development, which is further way downstream, is not really in my opinion, the right fix to fix the issues at hand. The issues at hand belong to the Unit 4, as we're calling it, and again, we're here, part of the community. I grew up here in San Antonio. I'm not, we're here to do the right thing. My dad owns the corner Helotes country store here. They've owned it for years. So we're not here to, fly by night, if you will, and do something sketchy. We're here to take care of the customer. If we created damage on their properties, we'll stand back behind it, and we'll try to make it as right as possible. So I understand the concerns. We hear it. We're trying to get them addressed, and if you need time to study that, I understand. But it's important that we get Unit 4 going because it's all based on funding, right? And so one thing greases the wheel on the other, and so the funds are important to have. This unit is scheduled to get sold to another developer 30 days upon approval from this meeting. So it's important that it gets done. So that's my point.
So if I may, question, if you can help us understand again, we're trying to find it on to bring an image up. Are you saying that Unit 5 and Unit 4 are not abutting each other, or like one thing that happens in 4 is not going to run off and through 5? I'm just trying to make sure that we understand clearly.
Yeah, and I sent that right. So if you zoom into that a little bit, okay, the blue or teal area, that's Unit 4. And so you see it's really not contiguous with Unit 5 at all, which 5 is up further north, if you will. So all the lots that you see.
I apologize. Our internet is kind of interesting right now.
I don't know if you have a pointer that can help. I think you zoomed way too far out. That's probably good right there. Yeah, that's probably good. So up on the top there is Beverly Hills subdivision. And so Unit 4 is, that's good right there. So if you look at those lots on the top left-hand center, if you will, that's Unit 5, which is where the problem currently is. And so the water flows, and it's flowed forever this way off of that property on, it goes, I don't know if you can pull up the floodplain with that. You can show a floodplain map.
Let's probably not. I say that
I can
because-
try.
Yeah, there you go.
I can try.
Let's see, I don't want
Click that.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
internet's helpful for the moment.
So the water goes up through the top, and it flows down this way. So the natural flow is through most or part of Unit 4, which is again that teal area on the lower center there. So the water flows in that direction. The problem we're having is that portion right up there, where that's perfect right there. So the issue is it's got to run through a few lots, a few property owners to get to that low so that it can roundhouse around back this way. And so again, Unit 5, if somebody, Unit 4 rather, down here, if somebody else purchased it and came in and it really has nothing to do with that portion of it. Again, there's another huge subdivision right there, Sagebrook, which was done by Meritage Homes in between us. And then so the water's flowing down this way. So I understand, well, don't approve one, and you can't hold one, again, my opinion, one hostage for the other. And again, it's not like we're not doing anything, council. We are aggressively trying to make things, improve things. Again, it was approved by your all's engineer. It was designed by, approved by your all's engineer. And I'm standing up and saying, look, we can't impact people, you know, downstream of us. And so I'm pushing the envelope to try to make things right. We've made things right for Mr. Lara. We made things right for Mr. Malik, and we will make things right for Ms. Gray and the other residents here tonight. So just want to say that, and hopefully we can get this approved tonight, and there's an understanding. And I can personally meet with all these residents and make sure, we'll get their issues addressed. There's a lot of recourse that you can come back to me on. You can stop issuing building permits. You can do a lot of things. It doesn't have to be done tonight by stopping the plat.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I was just gonna ask, I was just curious, have you started the wall? Is the wall under construction currently?
We've started sections of the wall in there, so if you drive through Unit 5, you'll see walls going up. The grading for the back side of this was supposed to start today. I don't know if they made it there, but we're within days from them starting.
And I know with construction, it's hard to have an estimated completion time, but do you have a guesstimate of when the wall will be completed?
Once they start, it should be relatively fast, because it's not, and hopefully, hey, we haven't gotten rain. If the rain will hold off just a little bit, it shouldn't be more than 6 weeks out before we can build a section of the wall that borders against Beverly Hills up there.
And then I think what I hear you saying that is in the event that the wall does not take care of the problem, you're willing to go to the next step to do additional mitigation to solve the problem.
Absolutely, ma'am. I mean, the wall, again, I don't, we have a good feel. I mean, we're spending over, it's close to $500,000 wall that I was not expecting to pay. So yes, the answer is yes. We will continue to work with the community here and try to make things right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
How big is this wall?
It varies. Probably it starts out about 3 foot on one section. It might get up to about 8 feet or so against Miss Gray's property. So as you're coming up on Malibu, it's going to look a little odd because there'll be a wall there. Which they didn't want access. The reason there isn't a through street is because the community didn't want Brycewood to communicate with Beverly Hills to avoid any traffic issues, but traffic's another thing through Beverly Hills these days.
And you mentioned if the wall doesn't work, you're willing to do additional mitigation. What would that look like?
Again, I'd have to get with engineers and see what other it really should because what's affecting these residents that you're hearing here tonight is that portion of those lots that we aren't capturing the water in our detention ponds. And it's not like it's a lot of, but it's all the lots that basically border that Beverly Hills. And there's probably 15 feet that come off of there. And so the rest of it is coming to the detention. We're able to capture it, filter it out. And again, we'll continue to work diligently on making it right. I mean, that's all I can say tonight. And if the wall doesn't solve it, then we'll get other expertise, the engineers to come up with some other recommendations and continue to crack at it.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Did the engineer know about the wall back in February? When the engineer approved it or said that he recommends approval? That was from February 3rd.
Well, if I may, you're talking about Unit 4.
Yeah.
And your question is related to the wall for Unit
5.
I just want to make sure that the question is clear.
Yeah, okay. So for this, on February 3rd, there was no discussion of a wall anywhere then, right? Or
No, sir. No, sir. Again, based on Unit 4, we've met all the recommendation or changes from the engineering that they've gone back and forth. As a matter of fact, we've been trying to get this resolved for well over a year for Unit 4, which is what's at question here tonight.
All right. So I make the motion to deny.
Well, stand by.
Oh, okay.
Not to hinder whatever it is you're going to do, but from the professional staff portion. So I will say that you all know I've been here since almost, oh my goodness, so coming up on almost 2 years after a while, right? One of the very first things I did was get in a vehicle with our Public Works team and go over, because in August of 24, there was evidence of runoff down in that area. Went over there, saw it for myself, saw a couple of storms after that. I will say with the utmost clarity that every storm event, every rain event, our Public Works team goes over into that area to do an inspection, every single one. And every single one, we end up having conversations, right? Our goal is to be able, well, almost 100%, but
yes, sir.
Really close to every storm, right? And so our goal is to make sure that the TCEQ standards are not only known, but there's efforts to mitigate whenever there's a challenge to that. We understand that
there is still runoff going on. We understand that it is a lot. I wouldn't agree with that it's a little, right? It is a lot. We have the responsibility to continue to engage the project and the project owners and everyone that's involved with the deal so that we can continue to make sure that they do the things that we are informing them of their violations. We're not going to tell them exactly what to do because that's on the project and the engineer, correct? And so what our job is to say, you have not complied, or you have not mitigated, or you have not solved, or those type of things. Now, we have had discussions about whether or not there's going to be a stop work order. We've had discussions about other challenges, but all of that is Unit 5. Unit 5 has been stated about there's no vegetation there to continue to hold the soils and the silt and all that kind of stuff. There's more best management BMPs processes, best management processes that we've talked about. Some of that is the reason why we're talking about the wall today. And so all of those things are actions that are being taken and or planned. Yes, we acknowledge from the city side, we're still seeing the same things that the residents are seeing, but we're still engaging. Okay, I just want to make sure that that is clear. We're not winking at, we're not looking away from what it has and what is going on over there. But we also know that there are efforts and they have a responsibility, and we're going to continue to stay on top of it. The matter at hand is Unit 4.
In your opinion, do you see that the issues we've heard tonight should have any impact on Unit 4?
As I see it, Unit 4 and Unit 5 are not abutting each other. And I look at them as separate pieces of the project. And I would not hold up 4 for the sake of 5. I understand that that might not be popular and it may not be the best thing. But I also understand that the real goal is, how do we get the problem solved? Solving the problem on 5, in my outlook and in my direction, even inside the professional staff, we're looking at these as 2 different opportunities of projects. Unit 4 and Unit 5 are separate. You also see that they're not abutting. And so what happens in 4 is, yes, it's the same owner for now, same engineer, but it is 2 different plats.
Almost 2 projects.
It is 2 projects. So Unit 4 is what we're addressing here.
Mutually exclusive.
I see it as that. I understand the words that have been said by others.
So they're going to put more water into that floodplain from 5 that goes right through 4. So what?
Wait, I don't understand. Please help me understand.
Obviously 5's above, and they're putting more water into that floodplain that it goes right through the middle of 4 then, right? So it's going to go downhill from 5 into 4.
From 5, it's currently going in through there as we speak now.
So not more water.
So not more water.
Where's the water going to go from 5?
Where it's going through there now.
Okay.
As it,
So when you build the wall in 5, it's going to direct the water into the floodplain, into the creek.
it's going there now, sir. The wall is an attempt to force the water into our detention so we can detain it and filter it. So what's escaping us is the portion that abuts, just a small portion of lots that abut the Beverly Hills community. So it's not, we're not talking about more water. Matter of fact, it'll be released at a slower level in 5.
So your wall will not affect Unit 4?
None so ever.
Okay.
None so ever.
It's just, I'd still like to see the mitigation plan with the water that's going to go through 4. You know, I think that's, I guess, my hang up is I don't see, okay, this is where we're going to put a retention pond. If A happens, this is what we're going to do with B.
But we're not,
Yeah,
we're not doing anything to mitigate the water through 4.
Exactly.
Correct?
No, 4 is, as you can see, 4 is on the floodplain. So we're
Yes.
not going through anybody's
Yes.
community or resident. We're putting the water where it
So
goes.
the water through 4 is just going to flow naturally towards Culebra Creek.
It's gonna get dumped right into that creek.
Part of the standard, if I may, part of the standard when it comes to large projects is about the existing water flow and the direction of the water, right? And there may be some velocity changes that occur, but overall, it's supposed to still disperse the same volume of water in generally the same directions, with some mitigations, with some filtering, with some detention. When the adjustments, since the part of the concern is how is 5 mitigation impacting 4, or potentially, or how could they be measured against each other? The detention pond adjustments that happen in 5, I'm familiar enough because I've been here during that change. It's really about how is it that water is going to get pushed back towards those ponds that have been already
Away
created.
from Beverly Hills.
Yeah, well, within the project, right? And so once they have the stream redirected to go into the detention ponds more effectively, that's when there should be a difference to the residents and the properties and the land around it. But again, I have to say, 5 is above, 4 is separated. They're not abutting. One is not going to cause the other one. Reasonably thinking, one is not going to cause the other one to create the same problem or make the same problem larger.
If I may add, there was a comment of, putting the carpet, squishing something down and something. 4 does not impact that watershed in any way. In other words, it doesn't change the volume. It doesn't increase the floodplain size. So there's 2 detention ponds in 4 on its own, even though we're right there, and we're going to release it so that it does not impact the
Overwhelm.
Yes, so it doesn't increase the width of the floodplain or the velocity, if you will. So those all have been engineered and are in the current plat that is being presented tonight.
And our engineer has been involved with Unit 5 the whole way, other units the whole way. Unit 4 coming at the time that it is their recommendation to approve. It is our professional staff recommendation to approve. I understand the comments and I understand the challenges. I understand also the mitigation and the engagement that we have with the developer, and we will continue to do our job and to do the things that we feel are necessary and within our rights to do with any perceived violations or actual violations.
Anything else?
No, I think the further explanation has been helpful. It'd been nice if it would have been given it in advance, because it is definitely not my specialty. But I do appreciate taking the time and the staff taking the time to explain. But it would have been nice to come to the meeting more prepared with more facts about what was going to happen and what was what, instead of just the plot for it.
Understood.
But I'm good. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor of accepting item number 8 as written, say aye.
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 All opposed? There's nobody. Passes. Approval. Okay. Well, with that, 8:14 PM.